Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new league racing video. This is PSGL round number 7 around Qatar. This is gonna be my first league race around Qatar. So there was a WR pre-season league race around here, but I had to skip that because of something else. I don't remember what exactly, but today we're gonna try and close the championship gap a little bit because we've missed 2 races. We are quite far behind in the championship, and because of me being also in Spa for the Grand Prix and before that being at the factory for like 2 weeks, we haven't done a lot of practice on this track yet. So this is going to be a tough one because even in the past few days I was still struggling to remember the track a little bit. And as you can see there, we're 20 points behind Barry Bormand, who is leading by quite a margin, 12 points actually. The point system is not the exact same as in real F1, as the winner gets 16 points. You can see it in the top right there if you want to know it. You just have to rewind the video a little bit. But Q1 here, as we're just warming up our tires, preparing to start the lap. Now, as you might recognize later on in this video, all the corners look the same, as Jake in the background took out Barry, who was on a push lap, and did not see him. So
did Jake just crash into Barry?
As you can hear me say, I was so confused what happened. But yeah, Barry, championship leader, instantly out here in Q1. Didn't even get to set a lap because Jake wiped him while warming his tires. So turn 1-2, as our teammate Danny Resnay, not our in-game teammate, our real-life teammate, goes to provisional pole. But Tom Manley goes 4/10 faster than that. So that's not an ideal lap from Danny, as we're trying to battle our way through that long right-hander into this hairpin. Trying to get the power down, as it's a bit of a weird corner. Easy to lose the backhand on the traction. And another long right-hander, followed by a long left-hander, followed by another long right-hander, followed by another long left-hander. And it just keeps going like that for the whole track. So, yeah, not the greatest track to race on, I can imagine, especially in real F1 with the dirty air they have. In the game you obviously have less dirty air, which I think is great for racing. But all these long corners, when you're following someone, you're losing so much time because you need the downforce on the front tires, and you just understeer off wide if you're close behind someone. Even on the F1 game, it's quite a struggle. We'll open the DRS for the final time this lap. Onto the line we go, and we just ran out of ERS before the line. It's a 20.346, and that's not enough. We were P7 at the end of our run, but it's very close. You can see there, Wilson went to provisional pole with a 20.2, and we are down in P14 at the moment, going to the fast left, and they missed the apex and invalidated my left, and that means we are going to be out.
Well, that was no ideal.
In Q1. Yeah, none of us in the team really had good pace, and it's just because of a lack of preparation. None of us really knew the track that well. And yeah, no ideal. Marcel, our in-game teammate and real-life teammate, went out in Q1 as well. Jake went out in Q1. Danny Bresnay, though, did make it through, even though he was the slowest of it all after his first run. And he just squeezed through by 100 of a second. You can see how close it is. 1/10 faster, we would be in P2. It's crazy. But yeah, WR is going to be in Qatar as well, as Lucas Blakely got pole in Q3, by the way, ahead of Tom Manley. WR is going to be around Qatar as well, so by that time I hope I will have improved a lot in terms of pace. So we're going to have to start from P16 here. No formation lap, of course. It's going to be 5 red lights. And away we go, starting P16. We get good off the line though compared to Simon Weigang. Instantly we dive down the inside going into turn 1. But we have to be careful because it's 4 wide here. As whoever started left from me went around the outside of both Tomek and Simon. So I had to keep that in mind. However, now I don't really know how wide we're making it here. But as you can see there, it is still kind of 4 wide. Actually,
Leave space, Simon. What are you doing, man?
It was only 3 wide by then. Tomek had dropped back, so not ideal as we lost a few positions there. Marcel got an illegal overtake, and after all that drama, we have managed to only drop 1 position somehow and not get damage. Very happy we didn't get damage there. But yeah, not the great opening lap. Although we lost 1 position, which was to Jake. and he started on the soft, so not a huge drama at the moment. But you can see that Luke Smith in P12, and we're pretty much starting next to him, I think so, if I remember correctly, or we're very close to him into turn 1. So thus far, no major drama yet. We're still in the race, which is all that counts, as Tomac had a huge tank slapper through there. As racing conditions are very different. This is all easy flat, pretty much, in qualifying trim, but in the race, that's a whole different story, as those hards do not have a lot of grip in this opening lap. So we're going to try and turn on the overtake button and get past Simon Weigang here into turn 1. You can see we have more straight line speed as we get a nice bit of slipstream from Tomac as well into turn 1. We're going to go around the outside, but don't quite have the momentum to pull that one off. And now we are up to P16 again, right where we started, with Tomac ahead of us. And Jake on the softs, expecting Jake to make some moves, as the softs are quite a good race tire around here. It's just quite high wear because of all these high speed to medium speed corners that last so long. Now, Fabrizio Donoso, Simon Weigand's teammate in P13, as we get a little track limit warning there. Now, if we get 3, we get a time penalty, of course, and that's not ideal. Because this track, it's so easy to get track limit warnings, and to already get 1 on lap 2 is just stupid, as I get a huge tank slapper into the left-hander. Barry sees his opportunity and couldn't quite pull the move off, so we stay in P16. Now it's going to be difficult to keep Barry behind, of course, because he always has good pace, and at the moment it looks like we don't. I don't have a lot of confidence in the car because of those slides as well, of course. It just seems to be a lot of understeer and then very violently switching to oversteer on the exit, so it's very difficult to drive at the moment, a little bit like F1 22, as Jake is starting to struggle on those softs here on lap 7. We're gonna have to go for a move though. We're gonna have to get past him. He's not gonna fight us too hard because he's our teammate, of course, into the double right-hander. He lets us go, and again you can see that understeer there, trying to get the front turned in. Can't really find a nice rhythm with this car around this track at the moment.
Fabrizio, 3-second penalty.
But yeah, as I want to say a while back, Fabrizio, I don't expect him to have much straight line speed. Again, because his teammate Simon didn't have a lot of straight line speed either. So turn on the overtake button here, and it is a quite easy move into turn 1, simply because we have so much more straight line speed. And now we are up to P14, so not a bad race so far, to be honest. 2 positions gained in the first 10 laps, even though it's mainly been a DRS train. So P14 it is, and from here on we're gonna have to work with strategy, because Tomac has quite good race pace, I've noticed so far, same as Barry. And yeah, from here on we have to be smart with the strategy. We might have to take some risk if we actually want to get some big points. Lap 17 here, we're still out on the hards. We're actually in P3. However, everyone else is boxed, as Luke Smith is boxing, Tomac stays out, and Barry behind us is boxing as well. Now, staying out another lap is obviously not ideal for track position,
yeah,
and it's probably not...
First in that train, Brendan Fox, lap 13.
Yeah. Onto mediums.
Yeah, all of them are mediums.
So, it's probably not the fastest way to the end as well. But I realize as well that our race pace is just poor at the moment. Our pace in general on this track is poor at the moment. And if I want to get big points, I had to gamble staying out 1 lap more, having fresher tires towards the end, and maybe, you know, hope for a safety car or a VSC. Because of course that's the advantage you have if you stay out longer. But yeah, it is very unlikely, of course. You're betting on something that might not happen. At the same time, staying out 1 lap longer might only cost us 1 position, and, you know, if it does happen, we get big points. So yeah, it's worth a risk in my opinion, but we're struggling to stay in the DRS of Tomac at the moment, and yeah.
Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
And we're gonna have to box at the end of this lap, because we are otherwise heading towards puncture territory, and that's not what I want as well. Every point is still a point, and I can stay out another 2 laps and maybe not get a puncture, but yeah, not worth it, because at that point I think the race is kind of not recoverable anymore. Philip Reitschneider and Fabricio Donoso behind me. Fabricio, however, has a 5-second penalty or 8-second penalty. So quite a good pit entry there. Haven't done a lot of this Qatar pit entries. So it's a bit of a weird pit entry.
You've got Barry who will be on lap tyres, and ahead of him Jake on 6, Danny Bresnay on 4, Marcel on 3, Luke on 1.
Yep. So yeah, now heading out on new mediums. There are 2 big trains of cars. As one is, I think, around the top 9, top 10, and then the second half of the field is around 5 seconds behind. But of course, on fresher tires. So it's going to be interesting if we can catch that train of cars in the coming laps. And for now, we've got Tomek on similar age tires as us, and then Jake on very old mediums, of course, because he boxed relatively early to mediums because he started on soft, so he just couldn't do a lot of laps on those softs. And then we've got Barry ahead of him, and then after that I don't really know how old everyone's tires is. Definitely older than both mine and Barry's tires, so let's see if we can fight through the field and still pick up some good points, you know. And even if there's still a safety car coming, we still have a lot fresher tires than the rest, and we can just stay on them because they're so much fresher. Or maybe go for a risk, but again, safety cars don't happen a lot in league races, and they are quite a big risk. So they do add a lot of fun, though, a lot of risk around a track like this, where it is very hard to overtake because of these long corners. Not really a place where you can outbrake someone, or you can use a lot of ERS and then overtake. You only really got turn 1, and if you're in a DRS train, it's so much harder to use your ERS advantage, of course. So behind Tomek again, who is gaining a lot of time to the cars ahead.
Box behind Otis, teammate.
Ah, okay.
So our teammate Danny Bresnay had a pretty good qualifying. I think he qualified top 5, if I remember correctly. But he boxed behind Otis Larwins, which is his in-game teammate, and lost several seconds. And in a field that's so tight, from P1 to P20, losing 3-4 seconds is basically race ending. So we are also on tier warnings, by the way. I got my second warning in lap 9. And yeah, driving 20 laps around this track without trying to get a warning is the most difficult thing ever, because it kills your confidence as well. Especially on a track you don't know that well. You're kind of like walking on ice constantly. As driving on ice, pretty much, because it's a pretty slippery track, and at the same time, every corner you can take track limits, and we already had quite a few big snaps of oversteer, which makes it so scary to basically do anything, drive on the limit, making overtakes. As we go for a move on Marcel.
Marcel?
He wasn't making it too hard for us, of course, and had to get past fast because Tomek was pulling away rapidly. On those fresher mediums. Marcel's tires are quite a bit older, as now the cars ahead of Tomek are battling hard. You can see going 3 wide there. It's becoming a bit of a mess as Tomek's trying to find his way around there. Couldn't quite pull it off, as they were still battling side by side. As you can see there, Wilson, for a glimpse you could see him flashing, and Tomek is gonna go for it down the inside like we did to Marcel. But he pushed him a little bit wide, and that gave me the opportunity to go for a move down the inside there. But Wilson brake deep, and it didn't want to make it. Didn't want to make it 3 wide. However, they tangled, and that's a free 2 positions for us. Thank you very much. Up to P11, and now we need to set ourselves up for the final few laps of the race already. It's looking a little bit unlikely that we're gonna catch the top 8 train, simply because the tires are starting to equal out over time. Pace becomes more similar, and
that'll get removed at 5 second illegal overtake.
Yeah, as you can hear Ben, my engineer, say, Tomek's penalty will get removed, so we are racing.
It's 3 seconds. He has 4 laps fresher than P1.
Yep.
We are battling Tomek on track because the penalty will get removed, so We are currently P11. Might be some penalties up ahead. As I said, very easy to get a 3-second penalty around this track. So other people might be at risk of a penalty as well, but so are we. One warning away from a 3-second penalty, and that's basically race over. The moment we get a 3-second penalty, we will drop out of the points. And yeah, we have to be careful. That last lap now, I honestly didn't expect that much overspeed on Barry. If I did, I would have left my overtake button on, but because I just didn't expect to gain that much with the help of DRS. Now we've got 57% ERS remaining, but the issue is every single corner is just long corners, and there's no DRS on anymore. So it's gonna be very difficult to go for a move here on Barry, even though we have way more ERS. Again, this is not an overtaking opportunity, and if I use my ERS, we're just going to be closer towards him and drop back because of the dirty air in those long corners. And not to mention, Barry has better pace than us at the moment, so it's going to be very difficult to find a place to overtake. I turned on my overtake there, but we were not going to make a move into those fast corners, simply because we were not going to be able to get close enough. And once we get close, then we're just going to wash out wide with understeer and risk a 3-second penalty again. So I'm all saving it for this last straight. I turned it on here to try and close in a little bit. So we're going to try and have a go at him up towards the finish line. We're going to turn on the overtake button. Is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it, as we've got slipstream. You can see I'm so disappointed that we didn't go for it into turn 1. Because, yeah, after penalties we're actually P9. Alvaro's penalty got removed though, so we actually finished P10. But so disappointing, I didn't go for it into turn 1. Simply, I didn't expect to have the overspeed. And I also kind of had in the back of my mind that we were going to have an opportunity somewhere else on track. But it's just a bad track to race wheel to wheel, to be honest. So, unfortunately, not very ideal. We dropped to P6 in the championship as we only got 1 point. Lucas jumped ahead of us now, as he finished P4. As I actually don't know what really went up, what happened up front there, but Brandon won ahead of Thomas, Otis, Lucas, Ismail, Isvan. Actually, Isvan is the last of that top group there, but Alvaro got reinstated his position, so he jumps up to P7, and we drop down to P10 with Barry in P9. So we lost 1 point to Barry. Not major, but not ideal again. I wish I would have gone for the move into turn 1, but easy to talk afterwards, of course. Make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to also check out my Jarno Opmoor channel for F1 23 manager videos, and see you guys next time. Ciao.